Welcome to another Triumphant Tuesdays. Allura Creative Agency proudly presents one of the coolest things that we've been up to lately, and an opportunity for you to come and learn from industry leaders and experts that may not be available in any other capacity. So what we're so proud as an agency to be able to present is the ability to join the Frequency of Abundance group. It's a free group over on LinkedIn. There's a paid group that's offline as well that adds a whole bunch of other cool stuff to it. But it's a small place that has deep roots and community that's growing. And we're looking to have the ability for others to have the most incredible access to content. Today, Triumphant Tuesday, we're talking about building communities, not just client lists. And I know that a lot of you are maybe coming in or coming on or hanging in or hanging on and have been on this roller coaster ride since the beginning of the pandemic or even sooner. And I can tell you that I joined in a very different way. For 30 years, I was an elite energy coach. I started at Cirque du Soleil, Olympians, national sports teams. I wrote a couple best-selling books. I had about 15,000 people come through my hands in those couple decades. And I never would have thought of myself coming online. And then the pandemic hit, and I didn't want to make cat videos, and I, everyone else seemed to already have that covered. And I wanted to make sure that where the value that we were really giving was helping those that needed to have a light shined on them. So in that context, with the Allura Creative Agency, we handpick the people that we work with. We put on incredible one-of-a-kind events, and we really get to give back to coaches, healers, financial advisors, and we love working with other agency owners. We all get to cross-pollinate and collaborate and have some incredible fun. So in the spirit of that, and a lot of what I just said is part of building communities. It's thinking 60,000-foot overview and really then diving into the weeds. And then back to 60,000-foot overview. So let's talk about 4 fundamental differences between you building out your client list compared to you actually building out a community and what the differences would look like. Let me preface this by saying, if you're building out a client list, as a simple example, the size of it, the length of time that people hang out with you as a client, all are very linear and all very time-based. So if you're new and you've only been around for 2 months, well, how can you have 300 clients? You know what I mean? Or if you've been around for 10 years, well, how come you weren't able to keep 300 clients or make 300? So the numbers are weird and they don't have the same validity. They're more vanity numbers in that sense. Likes, follows, shares. These are great vanity numbers. They don't keep the lights on and the doors open. They don't pay the rent. So where a big factor is pretending that you are, if you're not, pretend you are, because this will apply both ways, before and after. So pretend you are mature enough as a business to have a healthy client list. What would the difference look like in the first thing we're going to talk about? Activity. The level of activity that you have with your client list probably is very different than the level of activity that you'd have with your community. Whether it was a free or paid community is irrelevant. You'd need to be active on both. So your level of activity needs to be decided. It also decides, when you're active, why you're active. In our context, we are on 7 days a week. We've got motivational Mondays, today's Triumphant Tuesdays, goes all the way, winning on Wednesdays, you guessed it, goes all the way around the week, including the weekend. And we've got Monday, Wednesday, and Friday guest experts from around the world popping in and talking about incredible concepts. And in between, you get little old me, and you get to have some fun in the sun and a different slant on things. Both coming in as a coach, offline, online, both coming in as an author and coming in as an agency owner and somebody who used to have an academy. So this is something that if any of what we have resonates with you, reach out. We'd love to say hi. All my contact info and everyone else is always in the description and in the event and stuff. I'm not a hard guy to get a hold of. Let's talk activity. If we're focusing in specifically on how much activity do you need a heck of a lot more with a community versus a client group? I would invite you to look at how much activity you have with your clients. because you need a healthy amount. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. And the next person who comes and sings them a pretty song and offers them a free gift and a toaster, you might lose them. So where in activity do you need to play in order to ensure that you have enough of it without, being annoying and such? That goes back to intelligent questions. When you're getting to know and building the rapport with your client, before they become community or this or that, they're a client, they're a person, they're one-off. They're a person who's looking for a promise from you. I give you a couple $1,000, you give me, what's the promise of working with you? What do I get? So in that, you should be able to, during those courting times, find out what level of activity do they expect, do they want, and what would they be happy with? I have clients that really don't want me to reach out more than once in a month or two. They're busy, but they need access to me whenever they want. I have others on the opposite side. They need to talk to me almost every single day, but then when things come on that are, stressful for others, they're fine. So activity needs to be increased, but increased not the way you'd think, just, to get a community, I increase activity. No, to keep your current clients happy and to grow your client list, activity with them. That'll help breed referrals, which will then pop into community. So level 1, activity, increase it on both community and your client list. Next level, engagement. And this is different because your clients want 100% access to you. They want full engagement. They want you, right? And they wanted and only wanted to pay for you. On your community side, if you do it correctly, you should be a prize. You should be a commodity. You should be something that people look forward to get access to. They can consume your content, no problem. They're either doing that for free or they're paying you for it. But other than consuming your content, you, the owner, founder, creator, director, manager, coach, the magical person, you and access to you should be ridiculously limited, restricted, and looked upon as, almost mythical. Like, wow, have you seen him? Have you met her? Oh my goodness. Those kind of things. So your engagement with your customer list usually is higher than your engagement with your community. Much more, I paid for your time here as a coach compared to, if I do everything right, or if I get enough prizes in the gamification, in the group, or if I introduce enough people, or if I'm active enough in the community, maybe I'll get to meet the founder. How cool would that be? And it should be, and you should be treated that way. So change the way you're playing with your engagement and see if you can twist the dials, change the equalizers a little bit, because engagement on your customer side is important, of course. It's not just birthday, anniversary, holiday wishes, those kind of things. That should be more than enough engagement, as well as cover, number 1, activity. It should, and it usually is fine for that. It was your initial ability during courting to really, really go deep. And even if they were excited to become a client with you, you took the time to deeply understand who do they serve, how do they serve them, what's important to them, what level of communication and frequency do they like, what's a good SLA or standard operating procedure. That's SOP. Service level agreement, SLA. Basically, how long until you respond? And in that context, that'll help your engagement. So if you set your SLA as, hey, we respond within the next 24 hours, okay. It'll delight your clients to respond sooner, but only if they know. So in the sense of, if you started a new company and you said, I respond within 15 minutes, that's awesome, unless I don't know the value of that. And I don't mean like to me personally, I mean collectively, like across the industry. So if I think that's, this guy's doing it in 15 minutes or less, so that's par for the course. No, it's not. That's my differentiator. I'm unique that way. You might want to speak to that. So in that context, make sure that your messaging focuses on that. And then your engagement will change. This brings us to our next topic, communications. And building communities is so critical to communications. It's very important in clients, but if the work you do for them is important enough, or if the personality their personality, the rapport that you have, the relationship that you have with them is good enough, you can get over some bumps and some humps and some oopses. And I can't believe that happened. I'm so sorry. Relationships can stand that. You'd be amazed if it has all the other things I just said. But if it doesn't, and communication is weak, and something goes wrong, and there's a lack of communication, oh my, you lose clients real quick. And it's so hard to recover. You have such a negative to bounce back from. So, I'm up in Montreal. I joke that I'm an hour out in the country, so I'm the only guy here that doesn't speak French. And winters here are, look it up, they're something. So one of the things they tell us is, when you're breaking, break early, break often. Break early so you're not, oh crap, I'm committed to it, breaking now and there's no turning back. Just in case you lose traction. So maybe you can steer, turn, do something else. That's why you break early. You break often because you want to make sure that 200-300 feet ago, that's not what this is. Maybe that's black ice. Maybe this is black ice. Maybe it's all black ice. Only when you break often will you know. Stop sign coming up, break early, but break often too. So in that same context, communicate early. Communicate before an event. Communicate before a problem. Communicate before a good thing. Communicate before a bad thing. Communicate early. Communicate often. Communicate so often that to the point of them going, I get it. This guy's involving me. And if every communication selfishly self-serves them, it's fine. Nobody will get mad at you. They'll want to consume your content because, again, it serves them. If it only serves you, nope. If there's no value, nope. And that's pretty logical and obvious. So, activity. Increase both. Engagement. You want to make sure that you separate that the engagement that you have with your clients compared to the engagement that you have with your community really is different in terms of how people view access to you, which is such an incredibly rare commodity. It's your time. It's the most precious thing you have. Your ability to communicate that and how precious you are and to extend your USP, your unique selling proposition, and what makes you super different than everyone else. That's important in communications, but not just to win your clients, to keep your clients. To ask your clients, are they happy? Are they getting what they expected? The way that if you were a corporate, they'd give you an annual review. Do an annual review with your clients. Venture it. Don't ask them to. Don't wait for them to get mad or happy or whatever. Fingers crossed. You take the initiative. Communicate early with them. Communicate often with them. That is going to be paramount. And lastly for today, I'll pop this in. Let's talk testimonials. So if we're looking at the people that are grateful and thankful to you, and they express that on the phone, in email, on Zoom, before, during, or after, you did something, you need to capitalize those fireflies in a jar moments because they're incredible and you can turn them on later. You can repurpose them. You can put them out in incredible places. They're also a testament to you. They're a tribute. They're validation, vindication. There's so many wonderful things that they just make you feel like this is what I do all of it for. Sure, the money is nice, the lifestyle, the freedom, the opportunity, but at the heart, it is heart. It's heartfelt. It's servant leaders. It's people that go out and seek to help their clients. And sometimes we touch them in such incredible ways that we change their life. And when they say so, or they want you to know that they are so, so thankful, you need to capitalize on that. Don't be silly. Don't feel weird about it. They're already saying thank you, thank you, thank you. If you ask them to, could you record a 30-second to 1 minute little something, something saying kind of what you just said now, Janet? That would really be amazing. And if it's okay, can I put that out on my website and on my, the interwebs and my social media? I'll make sure that I tag you so we can maybe bring some new eyes on you. And I can tell you most people will say yes, especially if they feel genuinely what they just said. So capitalize on the moments that come by from your clients, because the people that want to join your community want to see that end story. Like going to a fine restaurant, you don't care as much. Where'd you find it? Where'd you get it? How'd you cook it? How long was it aged? What'd you do? How'd you prepare it? What'd you cut it? What heat? What temperature? What sauce? They just want to cut it and at this moment be aware of it. Delicious, thank you. Then maybe they'll care about the backstory. But before they don't. So when you have new people coming to the community, ultimately, once you get a couple of those, you'll use them and ask them very nicely for testimonials. And please use the word community in those, because then people who are coming to your new community will see that you have people that are there specifically for that. Before then, you have to make sure that I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I find that ingenuine, but I like act as if. So you have to act as if you already have people in your community because you have a client list and it's one step away. All you have to do is invite your client list to your community. Magically, you have a community. But before you do, it would be really smart to get those testimonials so that the testimonials that you get for your clients become the original foundation for the testimonials you have on your community. Number one would be video. If they're uncomfortable with that for whatever reason, ask for written and ask if they don't mind if you use their full name and maybe a link to their LinkedIn profile. Something professional and simple, but that you really want them to feel that it's not just them telling nice words about you and nobody cares and nobody knows their name. You'll use their initials or something. This is the opposite. We don't want privacy. We want publicity. So we're looking for conspicuous consumption. The ability for someone to not just, drink that soft drink in the corner, but to be on camera drinking that soft drink. So people are conspicuously watching that consumption. That's what we're looking for in your testimonials. Now, covered a couple things today, and I don't want this to go on too long. These are always gifted and given within the first 10, 15 minutes or so. And I think that there's enough nuggets available here for you to be able to go back, watch a few times, redigest, depending on what stage you're at. Whether now is the time for taking this equalizer or that one, whether it's activity or engagement, or maybe communications needs to be tweaked. How are those testimonials coming? I invite you to reach out to me if there's anything I can do to help, to give you a one-on-one, to give any encouragement along the way. We're here to help. So thank you so much.